Hey, I have a story for you, right? But before I start, between you and me, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I should put a date on it because they said that's how you make smart goals, right? So my goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. Should I say in the next 3 months? Yeah, let's say that. In the next 3 months, let me see if I can hit 1,000 subscribers. So, but I need your help to get there. I need you to subscribe, to like, to leave comments, and share too, right? And yeah, help me out. Share it because see, it could help somebody. The story, especially the story I'm about to share with you, that could help somebody out. So in a minute, I'll get started. So thank you so much so far, everybody who has subscribed. You've been awesome. I can't believe I have over 300 subscribers. Thank you so much. Hey, I have a little story I want to share with you today. Last week I shared one of my rock bottom stories, and this week I want to follow up with more of a hero story. And I'm not one for much preamble, so I'm just gonna get right to it. And I'm probably gonna read most of it because while I've done some public speaking in the past, I haven't done it in a while. So my skills are a little bit rusty, so I'm gonna just be reading some of the story to you. So here goes. When I first considered coming out as a survivor of childhood sexual trauma, particularly incest, I was terrified that people would shun me and call me dirty or nasty, because I did feel dirty and nasty. I had internalized what happened to me, and I took the blame for it like it was something I did wrong. But to my surprise, after coming out, I noticed that people did not shun me. They did not find me dirty or nasty. Instead, they embraced me. I was applauded for being brave enough to speak out about a subject that even at that time, nobody wanted to talk about. But an even bigger surprise was that after hearing my story, so many others began to speak out about what had happened to them. And then I realized I was indeed not alone, and that so many others have experienced the same abuse I experienced, or some even worse. So, to help me come out and share my story, I had created a magazine titled Outspoken, right? Speaking out about those things that are so devastating. The magazine was titled Outspoken and tagged The Voice for Adults Surviving Childhood Trauma. Childhood abuse is the word I used at the time. And I did that even before knowing that that was a thing, that there was a thing called Adult Survivors of Childhood Abuse. That magazine for 5 years went on to help heal thousands of survivors. Yeah, because while I printed so many thousands of the magazines, and it would get into the hands of the readers and then they would pass it along, and then I did radio and TV interviews and speaking engagements, right? I organized conferences, I created awards for survivors, I held support groups, and even made front page of the Beaumont Enterprise. Now, where is that? I think it's somewhere. Let's see. I have it framed on the plaque, but here. And right below Oprah, look at that. So that was me making the front page of Beaumont Enterprise with my work with abuse survivors. And then I even worked with the doctor who consulted on the Oprah. When Oprah had that show of 200 male survivors, the doctor that was the consultant on that show had a regular column in my little magazine, right? And he would even use the magazine at his retreats to help the survivors he was working with. His name is Dr. Fradkin. This is him right here on the front cover of Outspoken magazine. That's Dr. Fradkin. Now, Dr. Fradkin had written a book called Joining Forces, and Tyler Perry had written the foreword for that book that Dr. Fradkin wrote. And I had talked to Dr. Fradkin about introducing my magazine to to Tyler Perry, right? Because he had become quite close with Tyler, and he loved the magazine so much. He would be on his retreats with his people that he was helping, and he would call me up and ask me to send him some more magazines. That's how effective that magazine was. There were other programs and organizations that would use the magazine. I remember speaking on radio one time, and an inmate from one of those Beaumont prisons wrote to me about how much my story had impacted him. So I was doing some work with that magazine. It was really helping people, and people were how should I put it? We're glad to know that there was a magazine that would actually be telling their stories, and that was dedicated to them and their trials and their survivor stories. So Dr. Fradkin had talked about handing a copy of the magazine to Tyler Perry, but it was soon after that the magazine went out of publication. And I just wonder what would have happened if we had gotten around to getting Tyler Perry to take note of the magazine. And I've also taught young women, young debutantes, about self-esteem and self-love and gratitude, and how to prevent becoming victims of abuse. I am a member of the RAIN Speakers Bureau, and RAIN stands for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. So I am a speaker for them still. I was a volunteer hotline volunteer counselor, right, on the hotline for the Rape and Suicide Crisis Center. And I've written a couple of books, and the third one is with my editor right now. That's going to tell my whole story, and that should be published later this year. So yeah, through my magazine, speaking engagements, radio and TV appearances, the magazine being used in various organizations and programs, I have helped thousands of survivors and their loved ones begin the healing process. Little old me, coming out of my own destitution. I had a pastor at a church where I spoke one time. She told me, "You touched our lives. You touched our lives, and we'll never be the same." I had stories like that, feedback like that all the time. A lot of people would be telling their stories for the first time and being glad that there was somebody willing to speak out about it and to support them through what they were going through. I told you about the man that wrote me from prison, right? So I've helped men and women feel heard and feel like they're not alone. I've helped them get brave enough to tell their stories, some for the first time. I've helped move people from being stuck in guilt and shame to taste freedom. I've helped people begin to rebuild their lives, improve their relationships, learn to honor themselves, repair their self-esteem, confront demons and depression. I've helped people who were lost get found. At one of my conferences, I awarded a survivor the Survivor of the Year award, and she cried. And she was a survivor of human trafficking. She cried. She said she had won other awards, but she had never been awarded for being a survivor. And that was one of the hallmarks of the work I do, is getting people to understand that they survived. They're still here. They made it. They could have gone by way of no return, but they survived. They made it. And she said it made that award, that recognition, helped her feel powerful again, like she had overcome. So I've been a hero to myself and to thousands of others, and now I stand on my story, using it as empowerment to create the life and future I want for myself. Just like I learned to share my story to help heal others, I've learned self-empowerment and learned about creating the life I want for myself. So that's kind of a hero story of mine, because one day it hit me what the Mariah Carey song, Hero, was all about. You know that song? And then a hero comes along. Right. That song was about me, about you, and so many of us who find the will to carry on even after the worst of adversities. So I've shared mine. What's your hero story? How have you helped yourself and others through some difficult times? Leave your comment below and let's talk about it. And I'll see you in another one soon, where I'll share some more juicy stuff.